myself send an email out?
There's a lot of mixed answers as to how often people think that you should email. Normally, most people will say monthly to twice a month. There are other people that say weekly, and there's even some still that say daily. I would never be the person that sends something out daily unless you're pushing the launch of a brand new course or product. You might have a really hard email push for 5 days. But other than that, I would say weekly or biweekly. So if you did weekly, it could be these were my guests this week, and then kind of that format that we talked about. Same thing if you did biweekly. Here's the links to the shows from the last 2 weeks, and here are the 3 offers that were member exclusives. And I think I would ask that of all of your guests that you bring on. Hey, do you have anything special or any kind of discount you could give to my viewers? And then I would include that in your podcast, because then you're adding value on both sides. And then the people on your email list are feeling that value added benefit by getting your emails because they get these killer deals. It also gives you content so you don't have to come up with as much.
But I love that because, for me, it's always providing value and, over delivering, under promising and always over delivering. Now, we have a lot of friends in common, and a lot of them are military people. So what do you think are the positives of a person coming out of the military to opening their own business? What are some of the things that they take?
Oh, goodness. I think that particular industry is kind of hard because you go from being in the military and you go from being in a very structured organization in environment, but also a very, I'm thinking Army. So let's say your combat situation, it's life or death situations. It's high pace, it's high energy, it's kind of emotionally exhausting and draining work. And then you come back to the civilian world and nothing is that important. Nothing is that stressful. Nothing feels that impactful. So it's, I think, harder to find a job that is fulfilling and that feels as rewarding as what you were doing when you transition back to civilian life, because it's not the same level of intensity. And so I think when you're moving into starting a business, you have the control that you want to have. You get to utilize the skills and talent the military has given you. You're in charge of yourself. And you're also able to take advantage of a lot of the kind of benefits that the government is giving you to start businesses, and the loans that they give you, and the GI bills if you wanted to go back to school to learn new tasks and traits. But you're able to kind of expand on what you already have and not be stuck at, Target, some guy named Joe in a red shirt trying to tell you what to do who just graduated college. I think that it's a hard transition.
Now, and I think it's totally true. Now, I'm going to ask you, when I have friends on of other friends, because Robert knows that without Robert Garcia, there would be no comeback coach. And I tell him that all the time. So tell us your thoughts on Mr. Robert Garcia.
Dude, Rob is a great man. I think he and I have known each other now for 4.5, almost 5 years. We've gotten to watch each other's growth and each other's snowball effects. And he's done several things, especially recently, that have really propelled him up to this level he's at, where his visibility is kind of snowballing on itself. And a lot of that has been consistent content and daily actions. And so, he does Wake Up with the Warrior. He now does Success Engineers twice a week. DYP is once a week. Wages of Intelligence is once a week. He's constantly in front of the camera and reaching out to new people. In addition to that, when he reaches out to these people, he has links and actionable things for them to buy almost every single time. Or he will promote one of his past products that fits well with what he's currently talking about. And that's been, I think, key to watching his audience grow and shift and include new people. And then a lot of networking takes place by mentioning other people, by throwing out their names. So like in the course of this particular interview, we talked about Rob, we talked about Trish Leto, we talked about Sean Douglas. We've mentioned people that are in similar circles. And the more we do that as an interconnected group, like if I was to think about Rob's group, Success Engineers, I work with and talk to roughly 100 to 120 of those people. Now there's still tons more that I could talk with, but I refer work to those people because I know that I've talked to them before. And that's how all businesses are. It's just harder to achieve digitally than it is in person. You know, word of mouth referral is still the primary source of business for everybody, unless you're really like top in the charts with your Google ads. Word of mouth referral is the way to make it happen. And so Rob has been able to really effectively get people connected with each other, not only referring people with each other, but making those connections and also working with the people that he can when he can.
Okay, now my last two questions. How do we find you? How can somebody find you if they want to work with you? Because obviously I'm going to refer them to you. And now, since we've talked, now I mean we've talked off and on over the years, but now that we've actually had a great conversation, I'm going to refer everybody to you. How do we find you? How can we get in touch with you?
Well, I would say my website, but at the moment it just says coming soon because I'm updating it this week. But you're always able to reach out to me on Facebook. You can go to my personal page, Tamara Collins, or you can go to my business page, Business Boldly, and you can find me and see my samples. You can find me in Rob's group, Success Engineers, if you reach out through there. If you're interested in just automations, you can go to realboldly.com, which is my website about learning to use chatbots and automations for lead generation. You could find me on LinkedIn as well if you chose to, but I gotta say Facebook is going to be the easiest way to get a hold of me. I use it as my primary source of lead generation.
All right. So now last question. If I ask the average person to do something in 7 days, they're never going to get to it. But if I ask them to take an actionable step in 24 hours, they're more likely to take it. So 100%. If you know somebody, or I mean, if somebody comes to you and you know they're struggling with their business, what can they do in the next 24 hours to start to right the ship?
If it's in regards to working with me, reach out and request a SWOT analysis. Because inside that SWOT analysis, I do a full digital review of your business and your marketing, and you'll leave with a 10-step action plan in order to write your business. And then if you're not going to do that, sorry, that's my bird.
Are you joking?
If I have a cockatoo and I was not paying enough attention to her. But if you're not going to do a SWOT analysis with me, honestly, doing live video and creating a content plan, putting content out every single day of some kind, whether written, whether a blog, a YouTube channel, Facebook. If you want to right your ship, start putting content out every single day. That's the immediate action step.
Well, I want to say thank you for coming on today. I truly appreciate you hanging out with us. And if there's anything that I can...
Thanks for having me.
Oh, of course. It's fun. So, guys, if you need help, like a guy like me that's still learning, she's willing to help you. So reach out to her, and I'm going to be reaching out and asking questions. So just wanted to say thank you. And if you do talk to Trish, tell her I said hey.
I will.
All right. Well, have a beautiful day. And this will probably go out in the next week or two.
All right, Rich.
Thank you so much. Have a blessed weekend.
You too. Bye.
Guys, thank you so much for hopping on. Thank you for staying with us. Follow us on social media.